What is up? What is up? What is up, people? So I already did a reaction video to like the Kendrick Lamar halftime show, and I talked about it and reviewed it a little bit after that, like after my reaction. But I want to do a whole video dedicated to just reviewing or at least discussing the halftime performance because it's so polarizing, and I knew it was going to be, and I love that for some reasons. But let's get into it. So I guess let's just address the things I've seen online, which is very interesting. And a lot of things, people are torn. There are people who really loved it. There are people who thought it was okay, but those people who think it's okay are leaning more towards the side of the people who hated it. So it's like those three. But the ones in the middle are kind of leaning more towards they hated it than they loved it. So I'm in the camp that I loved it. I thought it was great. It was everything that I could have wanted. And here's some of the reasons why. One, he performed in LA a couple of years ago at the Super Bowl with Dre and them, and he did do Good Kid, Mad City. Like he did some songs from his way older. That's like almost like what 15 years ago now, old catalog. So I got that then. It was in LA. It was amazing, especially when he only had like a couple of minutes, like really like maybe 4 minutes or something. And he did an amazing job with that. Amazing job with that. I didn't need the same thing here. Like he's about going on tour. Like, I'm sure he's going to put some of that catalog into play there as well. But like GNX just came out. I knew that GNX was going to be featured heavily in this Super Bowl. Kendrick's not someone to do the greatest hits like that over and over and over again. Especially, again, not everyone watched the interview, but when he had the interview on Apple Music and he was like, "Yo, I'm in the present. I want to stay in the present." I already knew we'd be lucky if we saw anything past Mr. Around the Big Steppers. Like I was shocked. I would be shocked. Like honestly, he played Humble and DNA. And I'm not surprised because those are two of his biggest songs. But I was surprised to even get that, and I thought it was really cool. And I love that I went from Humble into DNA into Euphoria. I believe that's the order it went into, if I'm not mistaken, or at least they're very close together. And I thought that was really cool how they did that. But yeah, I wasn't here searching for Kendrick Lamar. I'm personally a huge Kendrick Lamar fan, and so I listen to his music a lot, like a lot. And it's a huge catalog. I've been listening to Kendrick Lamar since Section 80. So like, when I mean since Section 80, I mean since it came out. So I've been listening to him for a very long ass time, and so I don't have like a super desire to be like I need this song live because it's like it's fine if it's not. He's the Pop Out show. Like there's a lot of shows, Pop Out show, Grammy shows over the years where I've seen it, I enjoy it, and I listen to it so much in my personal life that it's okay if it's not always there, right? In this moment, he only had 12 minutes or so for this halftime show, so I knew, hey, GNX has some slappers. People really like it. A lot of those songs are currently trending, right? So of course he's gonna put those songs in there. He's going on tour with those songs. So I knew that was gonna play a big factor into this. SZA featured. You knew the two songs are gonna happen. It was definitely gonna be All the Stars was gonna be in there. It had to be. It would be that would have pissed people off. People already pissed off enough because they're like, oh, he didn't have any songs. He didn't have this song from Good Kid, Mad City. He didn't have this song from. There's no Section 80 love. There was no Section 80 love in the hates for this performance, which is interesting. I thought a lot of people would be mad, like rigor mortis. I don't know. Maybe I was the only one who was like, damn, no rigor mortis or whatever, right? But like people were like, oh, there was All Right didn't get played, The Black of the Barrier, this and that. Like he oh man, he just it's all about Drake, which is also bogus. Which is also really bogus. This was not all about Drake. This wasn't, dude. And I saw a lot of people live react to this thinking it's about Drake. And that's one of the biggest issues about this beef. Is to not to even to Kendrick's fault, but they think every single lyric, past, present, and in the near future, is about this man Drake. And it's not. GNX, the album, if you actually listen to it, is really not like maybe like out of the full hour. I don't know how long the like minute wise the album is, but out of that, maybe like 30 seconds is dedicated to this man Drake. Outside of that, it even in Not Like Us as some of the other most like Euphoria, like 616 in LA in some regards, Watch the Party Die, is also about the industry. It's more about not Drake, not Aubrey Graham, but Drake, like the personality, what Drake, the personality or persona of Drake represents. Like that is what he's attacking. That's what he really dislikes. He probably dislikes Aubrey Graham clearly, but like the idea of Drake, he really hates. And so that's also an overall industry thing. And there's so many different things he's attacking. And I really thought he did a great creative choice, him and Dave Free, with having Samuel L. Jackson appear and play Uncle Sam. And I thought that was one unexpected. I know that things got leaked. I didn't see any of the leaks. I went in blind. But I'm not even online like that, so like it was really nice to see that surprise. I'm happy I didn't get any of that spoiled. But to see Uncle Sam there and try like basically control and dictate what Kendrick wanted or what he wanted Kendrick to do, and Kendrick's like, nah, fuck all that, I'm gonna do my own thing. And the song choices he made I thought were really cool. Now I'll give y'all this. I personally, the fan in me would have liked to see or hear All Right, Black of the Barrier. I would have really loved that. I would have really enjoyed that, right? I'm not pissed he didn't do it. I just think those songs had a place in here and could have replaced some of the ones he used, but I'm not mad about it. Like, I like those two songs way more personally than Humble and DNA, like, by a lot, but I'm not mad at it because the way he performed them and just that whole aspect of it was, and the songs are not bad. Like, I like the songs. I actually like Damn way more than most people did when it first came out. But I was not mad at it. Saw the performances, was not mad at it. But I thought the uncle, I almost said Uncle Tom, Uncle Sam was very interesting. Very interesting choice. And I thought played really well. And Samuel L. Jackson, man, he will really dedicate and go all in with his roles, no matter what it is. If he agrees to it, he's going all in. And he just played the role very well. Obviously, if you see him Django Unchained, like, so he just played the role really well. And I think it was a nice little bounce while Kendrick was probably getting his breathe in and they're trying to mix, like, change the sets and do all that stuff. It was a very nice way to kind of play with that. It was really cool. And I really liked it. And I don't think a lot of people complain. There's a small section of people who complained about Samuel L. Jackson's character. We'll get to that later. But most people, I don't think, had a problem with Sam's character. Only song was really cool to put in there. Seeing all the people pour out of the GNX was really cool. I'm surprised I even found one. So it was overall it was a really good show. I know a lot of people were complaining about and this is a thing where it's like, I understand where people are coming from with this, right? People were complaining about the spectacle aspect of this performance, or the show, I should say, the show. And they're saying, hey, this is the Super Bowl. It's an American sport, so everything has to be a spectacle, has to be bigger than life itself. It's the Super Bowl. It's the season finale of the season. That is the NFL. It needs to be grand. It needs to be big. It needs to be larger than life. And Kendrick, especially under PG Lang, his label, like he doesn't. That's not his thing. His thing is very focused, very artsy but focused. And being artsy does not mean it has to be. It's going to be some crazy spectacle. Like, art is different for everybody, and they have their own interpretations, and they share it with us through that. But Kendrick isn't like that. His is very focused, very tactical, very, very intimate. I would say intimate, right? And I think that was reflected by how it even started, where it was like how the lighting was, and how he was kind of in a shadow, kind of in a way, with like a silhouette, and he really started like real calm, and then he got kind of up tempo, and then you see the people pouring out of the GNX. Then he goes to eventually the humble, and then all that stuff. Or no, squabble up. Sorry, then humble, and then you know the rest. So as soon as I saw how you started it, I knew. I was like, okay, this is going to start on some real. This is real Kendrick shit. Like this is real Kendrick shit. Like this is from start to finish. This is going to be Kendrick Lamar. So I don't. I honestly feel for the people who watched it live. I don't know how it looked live. I'm sure it probably looked. It looked very interesting, especially the higher up you were, because like I said, it was going to be intimate. It's going to be focused. It's going to be smaller in scale than they have ever seen or are used to in shows where like people rushed in the field and marching bands, people suspended in air and fireworks and rain, whatever the hell, right? Nip slips, like just you weren't going to get any of that. You were going to get a very focused, artsy ass show, and on TV for the rest of us, for the majority of us at home watching it, the cinematography, like the cameraman raises, dancers raises. It was a phenomenally shot show performance, and I knew that was going to happen because I seen we did the last Super Bowl, or that Super Bowl he was at with Dre and them. I've seen the pop out, right? Grammy performances, like I've seen it, so I already knew what Kendrick was going to bring for a show that is shot for us to see. People complain about Peekaboo. I thought that was a really cool creative choice, man. And just see him like the camera spin around and see him kind of go disappear for a second and then Peekaboo and then go into his verse. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was cool. I'm sorry. And yes, biasy, I'm not going to expel biasy because I'm a huge Kendrick fan. But I'm telling you, the show was really good, dude. It was really good. And I don't even want to get into all the My Night symbolism and all that stuff because there's a lot to digest, and this video will be like 50 minutes long. And I'm sure all of you have seen on Twitter and all this stuff. But there's a lot of symbolism in it. A lot. And again, I knew I was in for a great show when he had his dancers mimic the American flag. And just, I loved the harmonizing when he was like under the street lamp or street pole. And like he was rapping his verse for Man the Garden. And you know how much he loved that song. To see that was really cool. And him building up and teasing Not Like Us throughout the show and then eventually giving to us was amazing. It was the payoff. It was the big payoff. It was what everyone was waiting for. Is he not? Is he not? Oh, he is. No, there's no way. He did it. And that, it was an amazing release. It was an amazing feeling. I really, really liked that. And I really liked that. I know a lot of people were saying that Not Like Us really hindered this performance. If you've ever listened, like I've seen Kendrick Lamar shows. I know he can do the spectacle aspect, but for this big ass stadium and for what he wanted to set to accomplish in this Super Bowl performance, you were not going to get that. You were going to get a very focused show that was authentic to who he is as a person, as a rapper, as an artist, and he wanted to deliver something really special, and I really think he did. I really think this is a top 5 Super Bowl performance. I had to sit through the Maroon 5 Super Bowl show, man. I had to sit through that. I had to sit through Lady Gaga. I had to sit through a lot of these shows. Y'all are telling me The Weeknd was bad. Y'all told me Rihanna was terrible. Y'all told me Usher was boring. There is no winning with people. And online does not dictate the majority of what people think. Well, all these YouTube music guru think pieces. There are tons of, and I really think you should, if you want a smile on your face. There's plenty of videos online of reactions to this with like people in the living rooms watching it live with their families, a lot of black families mostly. And it's beautiful. It is beautiful. It is an amazing thing to see from all these different generations sitting at a TV watching this and rapping it bar to bar, from bar to bar. And it's a beautiful thing because that's something I feel like was really lost in this new digital age we're in, and it's really cool to see that. But that's just a side note of the whole thing. That's just something that I thought was really beautiful and that people should go try to do. And I understand the spectacle aspect because I get it. It's a Super Bowl. We're Americans. We want to see it, and we've seen so many really dope things in a lot of dope performances. But I just can't. I just don't think this was nearly as bad as people were saying, bro. Again, I'm going to be biased. I'm a huge Kendrick fan, but I'm telling you, as objective as I can possibly be, man, I just can't sit here and say this was a terrible show. I think that's really bogus. And I think a lot of it is Drake fans, not even Drake, yeah, Drake fans, but Drake stans. But I also think it's a huge white population that was not going to like the show one way or another, right? And there's certain people that I honest to God do not give a shit about their musical opinion. Like Theo Von came out and said it was boring. And I was like, well, I didn't watch any video on it. He just tweeted. But I was like, if you think it was boring, at least say why. I mean, this performance meant a lot to a lot of black people. It meant a lot to a lot of black people. A lot of people you have on your podcast. A lot of people that you're talking like. I don't even want to get into Theo Von, people like that. But all I'm saying is that it meant a lot to people. And so instead of just saying it's boring and all this stuff, at least give us if you're so inclined to share your musical opinion, at least say why you didn't think it was, why you thought it was boring. You could say that. And then maybe we don't have to agree. That's another thing. We don't have to agree. But for people, especially with big platforms like that, just to like dismiss it, like it didn't culturally mean so much to so many people. I just don't like that. Especially younger people. Younger people really dug this performance that can get their heads out of their ass. They really dug this performance, and it really meant something to them and speaking to them so differently. So you have these people like 40 plus who are just straight up hating on this performance. I don't like that because they're acting like diss tracks didn't. There's so much goalpost moving with Kendrick lately that's really unfortunate. It really is. And I do think it's getting to that point, like what it did with Kanye and some other people, other artists, and not just in rap, but whereas like they have evolved into something different, or they're going to a different phase or era of their life, and so that old music that you may really die hard love, you're not going to see as much anymore. Like I think Kendrick's he's clearly in a different phase of his career and his life, where he wants to make completely different music and stay in the present of his music, and so some of the other shit that we love, that I love, we may not see that much anymore, or he may not reference that much anymore, or it just may not get it, and that's okay. That's part of the journey. You're gonna lose some fans doing that, and I'm not a rapper or anything. I like making movies and stuff like that, so I understand being an artist in the sense of when you create artwork or a piece of work, not everyone's gonna like it, and some people will always reference your earlier stuff and be like, "Why can't you make stuff like this? This isn't as creative or whatever." And you're not gonna win everybody. You're not gonna win everybody. And I just think that a lot of white people and a lot of music YouTubers and a lot of Drake stans are all doing one thing that's really stupid, and that is they're continuously trying to push this narrative and agenda, not even agenda, a narrative that Kendrick Lamar is some underground rapper that depended on Drake his entire career to make it to the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, it was only a matter of time before Kendrick got something like the Super Bowl. Like, what are we saying? And I'm sorry, Lil Wayne is not touching this performance. This performance was excellent that Kendrick put on. Lil Wayne's not touching this. The current Lil Wayne's not touching this. He has hits. So does Kendrick. But to put something together, I do not believe that Wayne can do it. I don't. I'm sorry. You can kill me in the comments. You can do what you want. You can say I'm disrespecting Wayne. I personally think Wayne disrespected us by being a Trump supporter and taking all those photos of Trump and all what he's said about black people over the years. That's for you to go research on your own. If you want to go there, just know I'm going to go further with that. But outside of that, in terms of strictly music, Wayne can obviously have hits. He can go hit for hit with anybody in the rap game. I just think, and he will have a great spectacle and all this moving pieces and all this other bullshit, right? If that's what you want, go ahead. If you just want spectacle, a bunch of dancing, all this other stuff, shit, go ahead. Go ahead. But if you want real rap, hip hop, meaningful shit while also having some bops, That's what Kendrick delivered. And I just doesn't sit well with my soul to see people try to dismiss this performance and call it terrible. And I really hate what has happened with this discourse. And Kendrick said, and the thing is, he's saying this in some of his new music, where he's like, I know what comes with this new level of success I'm getting. I know what's going to come with it. And y'all already doing it. Y'all are already doing it. And I know it must be. I'm not a rapper, so I couldn't even imagine what it feels like to pull. Because what Kendrick did was not easy. He made it look very easy. The shit he was doing and he pulled off with his dancers and shit in this show with Samuel L. Jackson, that shit was not easy, man. I'm not a rapper or a singer or anything like that. And I can tell that shit was difficult. There are so many people, I couldn't even imagine pulling that off. I could not imagine they pulled that off. And SZA, man, is amazing. SZA is, listen, SZA is hot as hell. SZA is fine as hell, bro. But that voice is phenomenal. And I'm late to the SZA. I'm late to SZA. I really am. So this last 2 years, I really started catching up on SZA's catalog, and diving in to what she's been doing these collabs with Kendrick is super dope. I know Kendrick and TDE kind of mended fences and obviously they got way closer again. And is leading to some very beautiful collaborations. So that's very cool. But I'm just really a big fan of the show. I really liked what the show offered. I really liked what it delivered. And it just sucks to see that so many people are trying to push this narrative of hatred towards it. And I get it. I get not everyone's a Kendrick fan. It's not going to be for everybody. But I thought the show was executed very well. I thought his mastery and no backtrack was very cool. I thought him, like I said, teasing Not Like Us and finally doing the performance, the Not Like Us performance was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. The fact that he was also making it like he was making up new bars and putting them on. And I mean, bro, and he's finding these nice little pockets. He was able to do Euphoria. He was able to do Euphoria, and I really wanted to see Euphoria performed in front of an audience that wasn't just at the pop out, and he did it. Another thing people forget, like people were saying, oh, the pop out show was way better. The pop out show was 2 hours and some minutes, bro. He could fit Tyler Creator. He could fit Absol. He could fit J-Rock. He could fit Dr. Dre doing his thing. He could fit Schoolboy Q. He could fit having Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan on stage, crip walking. Like he could do all that, bro. And he was on Amazon Prime. He could cuss up a storm. He could say whatever the hell you want to say. Stuff that I can't even say on YouTube without getting my video demonetized and shit. He could say in that show. So yeah, of course he couldn't go to the Super Bowl and start dropping N-bombs and all the F-bombs and all this other shit, bro. He couldn't do that. So of course he had to change up some words, some lyrics, and do all that. His breath control is crazy. Bro, some of y'all can't even walk up, including myself sometimes, can't walk upstairs and back downstairs immediately without having to catch your breath. That man was running circles, running back, doing cuts, singing, rapping, like he was doing that shit. Not losing a beat. Now you can't even hear this nigga breathe. You couldn't even hear my man breathing for air when he was doing this shit. Like, it was very phenomenal. It was really technically cool. And then the PlayStation controller layout. The game over in the background. Yeah, he had some shots for Drake. He hates the dude. He hates what he represents. Of course, that's the whole thing he's been on for like a year and some change now. Is I do not like the way the industry is going. I don't like some of these people. And Drake, you are part of the biggest problem that right now. And I'm going to attack that because that's what I'm attacking. I'm attacking people like the personality or persona of Drake. I'm attacking DJ Academics. I'm attacking those type of people and putting on there. And those are some of the people, not all of them, but some of the people who have been really vocal about how much they hate this performance. Some of them are a part of that space, that group. And I really hate that. I really hate that that's where we're at with this. And I really wish we would be somewhere else with it. And again, not everyone has to like it. Not everyone has to be a Kendrick fan. But I just see people go out their way to just try to create this content and create money and monetize from it. Like, there'll be people who are recording, like recording a bunch of white people, not rapping along to some of this stuff. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, this was dead, this wasn't good, bro. We heard the audience many times throughout the show. They were cheering loud as shit. They said A minor, loud as shit, bro. Like, don't do that. Because for every video of you doing that, there's 10 more showing that it was an amazing time, that people really loved what he was putting on. And that, at the bottom line, and I wish rappers and other creatives would start attacking social media, bro. I really wish. And I understand we use it to promote our shit and make a living off of the shit, but sometimes you have to put things in check, because it's like, bro, social media will have you believing that this was the worst show of all time. Social media and some of these people who are like 40, 50 plus will be sitting here trying to convince you, and some conservatives too, trying to convince you that Kendrick's the Antichrist or something, bro. Like, bruh, he had a great time performing. He put something on for the people who wanted it. There's a lot of people who are new fans now from Not Like Us, and their first Kendrick album is GNX, and GNX has some bangers on it. It has some bangers on it, bro. And so he put it in the show, and that's really cool. That is really cool, because he's in this new era, and this is his present. He wants to stay there. And these songs are what a lot of people expected. Even if you expected the greatest hits, a lot of people still like these songs, bro. And it sounded amazing. Him and SZA singing Luther was amazing. Like, there's so many cool things about the show. And I didn't even like Peekaboo as much on the album, but it grew on me. But wasn't like one of my favorite songs on the album. I really liked how it was performed. I really liked it, and I liked the performance piece with it. It was really cool. It was really cool, man. And him looking at the camera and saying, "Hey Drake, I know you like." I mean, listen, man. And this is another thing too. I'm online, but I'm not that online. So like, I don't get fatigued with some shit that other people do. That's another thing. I do not get fatigued with stuff as much as other people do. Like, there are people who are online all the time, so they see all the memes. They see all the beef details. They're caught up with like every single little thing of all the stuff, right? So there's just caught up with all the drama. So like so maybe they get fatigued and bored with some of the shit. I'm not plugged in like that, so I get exposed to it from like things like this. So I was able just to fully enjoy it, because I'm just like, I don't get to see or hear about Kendrick that much. I obviously I see things here and there. People send me memes, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, like, I'm not chronically online. I'm not always looking and searching for this shit. So unless I'm doing a show episode like this where I get to like really deep dive into like what people are saying and then comment on it directly, but outside of that, I don't get to see this shit. So I don't get fatigued with Not Like Us. I don't get fatigued with like Euphoria. I don't get fatigued for some of this shit. It was an amazing show that he put on, and he only had 12 minutes, and he did the most of those 12 minutes. And I just feel like people, and some of the things that people are saying, they're either not Kendrick fans at all, or or like they are used to like a Maroon 5, they're used to like a Beyonce, used to like a not even Usher, but like I know they had Shakira and J-Lo one year, I think, right? So like they're used to certain things, and like that's what they want. They want the big booties, they want hot women dancing, they want all this other shit. And Kendrick gave us something really culturally significant, something really beautiful, something super badass, something that really motivated me to get off my ass and want to do more creative shit at a higher level and a better level, while at the same time making it one of the most plain, and I mean this in a very, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, it was very plain. Going back to the spectacle aspect, it wasn't giant fireworks and all this shit going off. It was really cool. It was still really cool. It made me feel like I could do it. And that's really important. It made me feel as a black creative that I could do it. And I thought that was really dope. I thought that was super dope. I thought it was super dope. I thought it was really cool. And I think those are some of the things we can do as creatives to get a lot better and do things that way. So there are certain aspects of the show that I really respected, and I think it was really cool. And I love to hear other people who do perform and do things like that, and to see what they would say about the performances like that. Like I really am curious to like T Pain. I know T Pain reacted to it. I think I saw a video or something where T Pain reacted to it. So I'd love to see that and see what he thinks about the show. And as a performer, as someone who who has his fair share of hits, I'm really curious about seeing what they think. Um, and I already know people like Rory and Mal are gonna hate on this, call this garbage, say X, Y, and Z could have done way better than this. And I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I don't believe Wayne could have done better. I just don't. I don't think he at this current Wayne right now could have put on a really great Super Bowl halftime show. I just don't think it would have been better than what Kendrick did. I should say. I should say nothing else. I don't think it would have been better what Kendrick did. I think Kendrick said a lot and did a lot that really meant even more. And I think every time I watch it, I see stuff that I missed, and I think it's like really cool. And get it, he had shots at Drake. He got Serena up there. He got all this stuff. But I also just think it's cool that Kendrick brought Mustard up, brought Serena that is also from Compton. Like it's just really cool, especially the bullshit that Serena had to deal with throughout her career while being great and entertaining us and winning, and what she had to deal with through her fallout with her very public fallout with Drake, which I still am very not hesitant, but hazy on. Like I don't know all the details about that. I thought it was like a very very small fling. I didn't know it was like as big as it was until I think Serena reacted or tweeted something about not like that, not like us a couple months back, and then like whatever. But like I didn't know it was the whole thing. But no, her husband I think got in on it, and that's when I started figuring stuff out. And I know Drake started rapping, dissing her husband and Serena a little bit and stuff like that. Drake is not over her, and Drake has whatever happened between the two of them clearly impacted his soul, and that's what Kendrick's like. This is it. And also it could be like, yo, Kendrick's so petty. He's like, listen, I'm using this time and place to finish you. You out here talking, saying we're bigger than the Super Bowl. Da da. No, you're not bigger than this. I'm here. You're where you're at, bro. Like just relax, relax in Australia, bro. And Adonis is gonna live his whole life with that being in history. Drake's lucky he didn't start that song. Dun 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 dun. He's lucky. Even if it was just that part, it would have that would have been too much. That would have been the nail on the. That would have been crazy. So, I think it was bigger than Drake. I think a lot of Drake fans and even a lot of Kendrick fans are really making this too much about Drake when he said a lot way before he even got to Drake in the performance. And he's been saying it. And I think we need to finally, like he said, game over. And now let's focus on the message he's been trying to say. There's DJ Academics, a lot of these people he's been trying out the way. We're starting to see some things. So let's just focus on what Kendrick's saying, and let's start being a little bit smarter. Let's start actually dissecting these things and actually having fun with what Kendrick does. The whole point of Kendrick is that he leaves these nuggets that are really fun and entertaining to look at. So comment below what you thought about this performance. Even if you didn't like it, I'll still love to hear from you because what you think and what your opinions are valid. There are people who are blatantly just racist, and I don't have time for that. I do not have time for that. But there are people who have legitimate concerns or critiques, and that's fine. That's fair. But I loved it, and I also love to hear from people who loved it too because it's cool to gush over stuff like this because that was dope. It was dope, man. See you on the next one.